Oh.
Brendan didn't mute the mic, guys. I'm so sorry.
I pressed the button.
Okay.
Okay, go real this time. Welcome
troll.
to our third game of the day. It's Asterisk versus Cerberus. I'm Granny Game. So, once again, with me is Never Hungry Lim, where we bring you guys the action. We saw our first game with Asterisk today. They took a pretty convincing game one, right? What do you think about that? Do you think that this is going to translate into another solid game?
Personally, I think Asterisk winning FSL Season 1, Season 2, coming in the third time, definitely look like the team to beat the contenders right now. Overall, their macro game looks very solid. They know how to draft, and I don't think I see anything in particular that's a glaring weakness to me about Asterisk.
Yeah, I think Asterisk as a team have very dedicated players. They've actually sought out a coach as well.
Yeah, Tanya, right?
Yeah, Tanya is coming in. They have a pretty good setup, and I think that they're working pretty hard towards winning the competition. They're leaving the 3-peat legacy. They are the SKT of FSL.
Which is funny. Which is very funny because I was saying in game 1 that the way they're executing their gameplay was very reminiscent of SKT. The fact that they were playing this very stranglehold vision control style, giving it's like the give me an inch, I'll take a yard sort of play style, and it really worked out for them. If they do it this time, and I could consider the first time maybe a fluke.
Yeah.
If they repeat this, it's sort of like proven success, and if they actually continue with this playstyle, I would say that they would stand up to any other team in the region.
I mean, considering their coach's fascination with Korean teams,
League
this is kind of expected, right? It's the trickle down effect. When the coach talks like every game, look at the Koreans. Are you guys watching Korean gameplay?
The way she's drafting as well is very reminiscent of the way the Koreans draft.
Yeah,
he plays a large emphasis on the jungle and mid synergy, as well as having your bot lane a winning lane, but not necessarily a bully lane. They just want a safe lane. Right?
Yeah, you don't need to go for that Karma, Zyra, Karma, Caitlyn, or whatever. You can afford to have a strong lane, but you want to give a little bit more space for your jungler to make maybe stronger plays around the mid side. Getting rid of this, so a couple bans right now. We have the Cassiopeia, Brand, and Nocturne on the blue side. We have
Sandra.
Camille.
No, I'm saying they need to pick Lysandra.
They need to pick Lysandra. They have the Camille, Gragas, and Galio ban on the red side, and now it looks like it's a hover onto this Talia. Talia versus Lysandra early on. I feel like Talia is open longer. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, told you, man. It was just a hover to troll. Like, I think Talia has fallen off so much in meta that she's not even a decent first pick anymore. The counter right now, if you follow the meta, should be Aatrox Ezreal or even Aatrox Xin Zhao, because there are like a couple of power picks that stand out to me as either you first pick it and you control the pace of the draft based on those, otherwise you kind of have to default to what you're comfortable with.
Okay, going for this early Morgana pick, would have liked to see, as you mentioned, you can take the Aatrox, the Ezreal, maybe even the Urgot, try and flex those in a couple of different positions. Morgana early on, that kind of funnels them into a pretty awkward position, because right now, plenty of options. They don't really have to worry about what's a pot they want to go for anymore. So next pick is going to be very integral to what's their plan.
Might just be the Caitlyn Morgana. It's a duo in the bot lane that we see a lot of teams favor. Just to explain the mechanics of this lane, it's a very safe lane, it's a bully lane, but you're very susceptible to getting pushed in by the likes of the Ezreal as well as the Ashe. So
there we go, that's the Ashe.
Because of the nature of the matchup is such that Ashe is going to take lethal tempo. She's going to try and hit you with a volley. The moment the volley lands, you're slowed. She gets crit bonus damage on her autos, and she has additional attack speed. So in that sense, the matchup is really tough for Caitlyn Morgana. If they pair this... Oh man, if they pair this with something like a Zyra, we saw that earlier, if they pair this with something like a Karma, it's extremely deadly, very tough bot lane to beat.
Yeah, this is a really strong lane right now. I think that once you get the Frost Arrow, you come in, get the Zyra out off, and you have a pretty secure lane. So it's quite difficult. It looks like for the Morgana and Caitlyn to snowball as hard as they might in some other lanes.
Yeah, for sure.
If they went for an Ezreal, perhaps you could see the Ezreal being shoved to the turret, and that would be a quite difficult situation. But the Ashe should be able to hold their own. And now the Malzahar pick up over into the mid lane probably. What do you think about this matchup? Lysandra versus Malzahar. Should they flex the Lysandra top lane, or what do you think?
So traditionally, when you see Malzahar being played, if you think about way back in the day, Genji, right? Crown was the Malzahar king.
Yeah.
The way you use that lane is that you just push 24/7. You have the push advantage, and against Lysandra, who has taken some hits to her wave clear, it's actually pretty effective pre-6. Going for the cleanse is an answer because you can cleanse the Frozen Tomb, turn it around, and then use your suppression to get the kill. So in that sense, it's leaning towards the Malzahar's favor pre-6. I think after 6 is where it gets a bit dicey based on what the junglers are.
So we'll see if they look for any junglers with early CC, try and get this early skirmishes, try to neutralize maybe the Malzahar's effect pre-6 as you mentioned. Otherwise, we already see a Kindred ban coming in, a Maokai ban, and that's quite interesting to me. Maokai, in my mind, is not a super high priority ban, but it might be something that they want to opt towards. Maybe some kind of strategy that it's a targeted kind of strategy against what Cerberus are pulling out.
I definitely agree with you. It's not so much a meta ban; it is a target ban, and I could see the logic of removing the Maokai if you want to flex the Sandra top lane, because it's one of those matchups where if you're spamming spells, Maokai heals very quickly.
That's true.
And the moment he starts spinning MR, you lose that matchup immediately. There's no way you're going to push him out. So definitely sort of a strategic way of banning it out. Moving towards the Kindred and the Aatrox for the red team indicates to me that they want to have a more aggressive jungler of their own. As I mentioned, Xin Zhao is open. Xin Zhao Malzahar is pretty decent. You get a safe 2v2 in the mid lane, and you kind of win every duel that you take in the river as well with Xin Zhao. So I'm hoping that they lock that in for themselves.
Yeah, Xin Zhao would be a very nice pick to round off composition right now, and then you leave open that final top lane pick to perhaps go in with different options. A lot of teams are opting for a much safer option in the form of the Sejuani and the Zac. So far that we've seen the FSL, so that's quite curious as well.
Now, the thing about the Sejuani that I don't like is that you don't have any melee champions right now in your draft to enable her permafrost.
No, that's true,
You normally want to pair Sejuani with someone like an Alistair or even a Braum, right, that can activate these sort of immediate permafrost the moment you reach. So this is a very difficult composition if you want to get the lockdown quickly in the 2v2 or even the team fight. So definitely a tricky situation.
This is there we go. Sejuani, Zac, and they pick the champions. I mean, Zac has honestly so many creative ganking paths. The only reason you wouldn't take Zac is because you're worried about Xin Zhao, something like that. So you mentioned Sejuani, not only have they allowed the Zac to be more relevant in this game, they've also forced themselves in a situation where they don't have that synergy between champions. So that's going to be rough, and right now we're looking at a Fiora lock-in.
I want to call into memory the old 2013 C9 sort of Zac, Zyra, Ashe. Because this is a lane that, or rather this is a draft with 3 components that facilitate very aggressive play in the bot lane and the mid lane. And you team fight very well, because Zac is the one that's going to be making these entries with his elastic slingshot. But the moment he overreaches, you have Zyra and you have Ashe to kind of lay down the CC.
Oh, please, lock it in. Oh, okay.
It's not gonna be the Yasuo. That's like a hard on counter though, because the moment he uses Call of the Forge, you just win all that and
it is an actual legit counter, and I think if you can play the matchup well, you actually have pretty solid chance of catching off a couple of the enemy team. So Asterisk, we'll dodge a bullet there. It is going to be Nasus up in the top lane with the buff to the plus 12. I don't think it benefits as much from the top lane, but then again, it's pretty difficult to capitalize that in a high level game like this anyway.
Yeah, interestingly, this is a lane that's gonna see Nasus farm it up and try to avoid the Bellow's Breath from Ornn. So there's very little kill potential unless the Nasus player makes a big misstep because of the nature of how this matchup works. He's just going to be farming and sustaining up. I think a lot of the pressure now is on the mid and bot lane, because when you look at the mid 2v2, it's Zac, Lissandra versus Sejuani Malzahar. Very accessible CC pre-level 6. It only gets worse after that, right? So your vision right now as the game develops, it's going to be centered around making sure those off angles, like you mentioned, that Zac wants to come in from are all covered. You want to see the way he's going to enter these fights, and you're going to be able to spot out the Sejuani jungle path as well.
Yeah, it's great synergy coming in, because right now you have the Zac who can perform the engage, but then you also have the Ornn who can supplement that engage or even make the first move, and they try and set things up there. The Sejuani, on the other hand, I feel it feels a little bit awkward, because Sejuani right now doesn't necessarily have the best clear. So it becomes a little bit telegraphed towards what the Sejuani could be opting to do. So I'm a little bit worried for the Sejuani. Sejuani might not have as much impact as they want.
The reason why Sejuani works so well, we saw her like rise back to fame or rise back to popularity, is because of two things. One, you can path very conservatively. Now, you're saying how she's weak in a clear, I agree. But you have to path for this very defensive clear. You need vision of the enemy jungler. Against Zac, it's not too bad, right?
Yes.
And another thing is that we saw a buff in patch 9.1 to her damage, which makes her dueling slightly better. So if she meets Zac, it's actually pretty decent in that 1v1. Her jungle clear, not as healthy as you would like, but definitely decent in these duels.
Yeah, so probably should still be okay. Again, kind of missing out on a lot of these like high priority jungles that we see, like Camille being removed, but you still have the champions like the Xin Zhao, maybe even the Lee Sin if you have that kind of progression. We saw last game of Gragas coming in with the Predator. That could have been interesting.
Many options on the table.
Yeah, so but I think for the safer pick, respectable choice, especially since you have sort of this like mid game power spike composition, the Nasus, the Caitlyn, the Malzahar. Pretty centered towards that power spike.
Yeah, there's a very interesting interaction with Sejuani and Zac, because most people would think Sejuani is a hard counter to Zac in team fights, because for the most part you're going to be sitting in front. Whenever you see the Zac elastic sting shot, you use your Arctic Assault to counter his entry and you knock him up midway, that removes his knock-up and his ability to engage, and then your team turns onto the Zac. However, because of their draft, I think the coach was pretty smart here. Having additional layers of engage after that makes it so tough to zone in onto the Zac, because sure, you can disrupt his entry, but then you're going to have Call of the Forge Guard behind an Enchanted Crystal Arrow. There's so many ways for them to layer that. It makes it very tricky for them to counter the engage.
Yeah, definitely going to be something we're going to be watching out for. I definitely feel like the Ashe, the Zac, the Ornn have such great synergy in forms of the setup.
Oh, man.
You have Engage, Disengage, Growing Potential. Oh, my goodness. It's a solid composition, I have to say. I'm loving what we're working with. With that being said, guys, we'll be moving into a video very shortly to check out our seeded team in this competition.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back after the little promotional video. Very
20
nice.
seconds?
20 seconds. Quick video. Solid promotional video.
If you want to see more, they're all on the Facebook page, Just before the matches were going live this weekend, they were slowly updating the teasers and the promotional videos. Very good stuff.
It's awesome, honestly. Yeah. We were seeing a bunch of promotional videos. Last game, we actually had 2.
Yeah.
So, between IMP and Nitrous. KTR, whatever you prefer.
KT Roaster.
KT Roaster.
Right, we are loading into the Rift now. We should see screen switch over very quickly. On the blue side, just to remind our viewers, it's going to be Asterisk with a very impressive draft in my books. And on the red side, it's going to be Cerberus G6 with a off-meta draft, but something that appears to be very comfortable for them.
Yeah, it's off meta, but again, you know, in this kind of best of ones, you have a little bit more free space to say, hey, maybe I want to go for something that some could call cheese, but I'm going to call my pocket pick.
Yeah, pocket picks. Cheese would be a bit of a stretch, but definitely pocket picks, like you say, Grandin.
So opting for this Grasp Nasus up in the top lane, what do you think about this? Do you think that the Grasp was the right call? Or do you think they could have gone for something else?
I think the Grasp is completely fine here because you're looking to sustain and trade in short bursts. You're not looking to go for the all-in. If you want the all-in, you go for Conqueror, right? Yes. But Grasp is going to give you that extra sustain in the lane. And later on, I'm expecting this Nasus to fully move into a Spirit Visage, which is going to amplify the heal from the Grasp. It's going to amplify the heal from his lifesteal as well. So all in all, a decent Keystone pickup.
Yeah, so looking like a pretty solid overall composition. Oh my goodness! If only Ornn went for that aftershock. We have that triple aftershock. Aftershock is such an amazing rune right now. It's such an amazing keystone right now.
And to talk to our viewers or explain why we're seeing all these interesting like aftershock Lissandra builds come out is because stats are no longer tied to your keystones. You have that stat shards that allow you to go for keystones like Aftershock while still maintaining damage by still getting 20 AP based off those stat shards. So it allows for a bit more flexibility and creativity in how you want to delve into these paths. But overall, it makes things like Lissandra with Aftershock much stronger.
It also makes champion like my homeboy Udyr totally relevant. You literally cannot get Phoenix Deer level 1 anymore because of the Afterforce. But that's fine because you have champions like Lissandra coming in. Such a tanky champion. It gives so much survivability in lane and in team fights. Oh my goodness, this is starting to look exactly like what you expect from the Ashe Zyra lane.
Yeah, very oppressive, especially when you hit the volley. It forces Caitlyn to back off. There's no way you can trade past this. The best thing that they can hope for right now is if this Ashe Zyra pushes up and doesn't maintain disciplined vision control, that gives an angle for Sejuani to come in with the gank. But judging from what I've seen in game 1 from Asterisk, their vision control is extremely on point. They know when they can push, they know when they're weak, and they back off.
in talking about vision control, it's interesting how the Zac's already moving out. I think they actually got spotted out by moving out for this early Scuttle Crab after the red buff, after the Raptors, just moving up right now, trying to establish some vision over from this side of the jungle. Maybe trying to spot out, especially considering that the On is pushing against the Nasus. This is good position.
Yeah, the team looks to be on point in terms of coordinating where they want to shift the pressure. You can see on the bottom side, it's obvious that they have the lead, right? They're going to be pushing up, they're going to be bullying. There's no need for Zac to be around there. So as a result, the team is communicating. They're saying, Lustreless, move to the top side, cover the lane that's pushing out. Best case scenario, sure, you lose your Crux, you lose one camp, but top lane is going to be able to push in safe. You're going to get control of that side, and that's going to force Nasus to CS under turret and give you a bit more pressure.
Yeah, setting that Nasus up on the turret. And then Nasus generally wants to be around this position anyway, but it is still going to be a bit of a tough situation for the Nasus, especially since very little roam potential compared to what the On is able to bring out post 6 and all that. So hopefully they manage to continue with this pressure. Otherwise, standard jungle pathings coming in, both junglers mirroring on the top side. So we might be able to see a little bit of a skirmish as a mid lane looks to be the battlefield.
You're talking about the On. I just want to add in a bit of additional information for those of you viewers who are not familiar with the new patches, the new patch changes to On rather. The fact that his CC has been shifted more towards the knockup and less towards the bellowing breath is an indication of how you should be trading in the lane. Basically, you want to stand 45 degrees to the side. You never want to stand in front of the On because
you get your protractor out.
You basically got to sit on the side because if you stand in front, you're going to get caught like that.
Ooh.
You have to sit across or at least adjacent to the On so she can't catch you with the bellowing breath and not get punished.
Yeah, so it's an interesting mechanic and something that's come about quite recently, so it's a little bit difficult for a lot of players to match just right now. Sejuani now moving towards the spot side. Are they looking for this window to gank, or are they just going to go for that Scuttle Crab?
Lustreless managing to steal away a single Raptor camp, I believe, and now setting up for the gank in the mid lane. Can see the Ring of Frost already coming in, flashing away the Malzahar, but it's going to get brought back in.
A little bit more damage. Actually managed to do quite a bit there. Not sure if they could have gone for a little bit more aggression. No Ignite up, so no Ignite in the team, so not going to be able to do much more there. Sejuani now moving down to the spot side, but the Zac is in position right there as well. Just going to force them off, get the lethal tempo, clear out their control ward so quickly.
Yeah, that's a bonus. You win that duel by getting rid of the control ward, and now you're going to spot another entry if Sejuani looks to force. There's a lot of damage down to the AD carry and support in the bot side. The red team now getting punished very heavily in this 2v2, and they're trying to steal away a cheeky Gromp camp, but Lustreless is just going to back off.
Pretty interesting that the Zac is also higher level than the Sejuani right now, considering that the Zac has actually had to take a quite a number of detours to get into position, try and find out where the Zac is, get some deep vision and all that. Still a level up.
So the reason for that was, I actually want to talk about this, but we didn't really have the time. Tiger had to go for early recall after clearing the bot side of her jungle, and as a result, when she arrived to the top side, she didn't have enough time to clear everything, so she got one camp stolen away. She couldn't take the jungle camp, which gives the most EXP, which is the Crux, and thus she is slightly behind in CS, just by about one camp. It's going to be behind in EXP as well as a result.
Yeah, so actually seeing a little bit of a misplay in terms of the jungle path. Would you consider that misplay?
I think she was trying to be more defensive and in terms of just, we're talking about how this Sejuani has to be careful and has to path defensively more conservatively. I think that was in line with what we were expecting.
Okay.
Sure, you fall behind just a little bit, but you overall get a safer clear on the first time.
Right, so avoiding any kind of danger there, opting for the safer play. We'll be able to equalize with the Zac now, so not much of a loss or any loss at all. In fact, we'll continue to see this bot lane just apply absolute dominance constantly down to 200 plus health. Man, that's gotta be a tough time, and the turret platings are taking a bashing for that.
Right now, if you're, prepping against Asterisk, if you're trying to get some insight tips, I'm going to give you a free one. Either you ban out the Ashe, or you pick Lucian. Lucian is actually a pretty decent matchup. You go for Lucian Braum. It deals with this so well, because every time they try to poke you down, you just go for the immediate reply all in.
Are they going for this dive here? That would be quite interesting to see. But instead, looking for the blue buff. Sejuani comes over the wall right now. A little bit of a trade, back and forth.
Clara is moving over, so they have the support of the mid lane as well as the support coming in.
They actually have decent amount of damage here. The Morgana, oh my goodness, misses out on that black shield. Will be able to survive a little bit longer. The flash, the heal coming in, but first blood for the Ashe anyway. They will not take the knockdown. Whoa, my goodness,
visual
what?
Bug?
Yeah, there's a visual bug coming onto the side. Tiger has flash over the wall. One more auto attack will not be able to find him. Almost manages to get a takedown. 2 kills, so very close there. Candle burn now over in the mid lane. Tiger jumps over.
A little bit of hide and seek there, but we'll eventually get out. And overall, the first blood going the way of Asterisk is a good sign for them. Oh, I think they spotted the recalling Sejuani there, but she's gonna get out still. But like I said, first blood, 1 kill on the board for them, but you can see how that translates into such a big lead, just in the form of CS in the bot side as well as the kill. It's 8 minutes in, Grandin, and they've already gotten close to a 2,000 kill lead.
Yeah, the 1 kill and just a bunch of CS, 2,000 gold lead. Have you ever seen competitive tag?
Competitive tag.
Yeah.
You were talking to me about this, right? Like they go catching around.
This, the different course. Yeah. That was what the Sejuani was doing. Sejuani was like jumping between walls, jumping over walls, and go. That was competitive tag in League One.
It's not a Facebook video. It's pretty entertaining.
It's intense. Here we have Sejuani managing to survive by just a little bit of health there.
She needs 2 more camps to get her level 6, so a bit away, but once we see that level 6 is when top lane as well, not top lane, mid lane and bot lane may be able to turn the tides of battle. Glacial Prison into a suppression from Malzahar, the Malefic Visions topping up as well, should be enough to take down Candleburn, especially because she doesn't have cleanse.
Yeah, instead opting to go for the teleport, a little bit aggressive. It really has to be said that if they manage to find effective use out of the teleport, it definitely has way more value than what the cleanse is going to provide. It reduces a lot of, obviously the cleanse would reduce a lot of kill pressure, but generally I think they should be still okay. It really just depends on how well they use the teleport from here out.
Yeah, she got the wolf cam now, so Tiger already level 6, looking to make something happen in the bot lane. We saw earlier, 2 days ago on the LEC, Selfmade on the Sejuani landing very, very clutch Glacial Prisons. If Tiger can replicate that behavior, it should be a good game for them. Have to see if she can land those pinpoint skill shots.
Yeah, it's a tight corner to cut with some of these champions, especially with a very large Zac in the way. Looking to go for priority targets like the Ashe, like the Zymer will be a lot more difficult. But here we are, back down to the bot lane, level 6. Both junglers now moving in. Lashless will be spotted out by this ward.
I don't think they should force this gank. They just want to secure the vision around and make sure there's a net of safety that they can't get ganked for no...
okay, bit of vision. Dark Bind, not able to connect. Comet coming out, putting the Morgana just down to 300 health. No vision over this. Oh my goodness, Zac. Is she gonna go for it?
She doesn't have the passive either, so this is a very risky dive if they want to force it. There's no way they can mitigate the aggression from the turret apart from juggling with the stopwatch, which is something we could see Claria doing,
especially without without the passive, especially without baiting out the black shield early on.
Right, yeah.
Even with Zac jumps in trying to do the kidnap, it might still be a bit difficult with that black shield. So yeah, it's a tough play to make down the bottom.
Because when you go for that dive, right, it's gonna be black shield on a Caitlyn, and then you pocket watch yourself. That pretty much removes any kill potential and forces them to retreat and expend a lot of summoner spells after that. So of course Lustrous is just going to cover this area and play it a bit safe, missing the first kill.
Saw nothing.
Yeah, we saw nothing. We're not gonna... But in line with their macro style of play, they are shifting their attention over to the dragon, and we should see them looking for Rift Herald soon after, because the top lane is starting to get a bit snowbally for the Ornn.
Oh, and Shadow Crystal Arrow goes a little bit wide there. Would have been perhaps a nice kill, but just missing that out just barely.
We'll call it a zoning out.
Yeah, honestly, it's not the biggest loss for them to not pick up that kill. So it's not too critical. In fact, it just gets them the Mountain Dragon. Plus, they're not just gonna go over, pick up a bit more turret plating. That's a lot of gold that's just compounding onto them.
Yeah, like you mentioned, now 3,000 is the lead for Asterisk. Cerberus G6 trailing behind, but this is a composition. Remember, they got the late game insurance of the Nasus as well as the Caitlyn, so there are ways for them to claw themselves back in the fight. Of course, the split pushing Nasus is always going to be a threat. Getting to that point is very, very tough though for them, because the mid game spike for Asterisk is so strong.
Ooh, forcing the flash away from the Ornn. Great respect coming out there.
Not overextending, and I guess you don't know whether the Sejuani has her ult up, so of course you want to flash away preemptively to kind of keep yourself safe.
Yeah, I anticipate that it really was just the fact that they were afraid that the number of crowd control spells, the CC, the slows, could have potentially got the own kill, and rather than waiting for that to potentially happen, just flash early, and you have so much health you can just stay in lane.
Lustreless's passive has come back up, so Cell Division will give her a new lease of life if she gets caught out.
Just so super aggressive now, it's just like, I can't
That's
be
okay,
punished.
right?
I can't be punished.
So good. I love seeing teams know when they have the lead and push the aggression. This is what we come to expect from this level of play.
Wow, Zyra's spells just break through that Black Shield. I think the Morgana might actually have to pump more points into the Black Shield.
Yeah, this is traditionally a counterpick towards the Morgana. There are two champions that traditionally are used to counterpick. Bran and Zyra both deal significant amounts of magic damage to break through
Oh, there we go, coming in. The Black Shield will come out. They're looking for a little bit more damage, not able to find it just yet. Oh my goodness! The ultimate coming in from the Zyra sets out the zone, and that will be the ultimate, the teleport coming in for the Orange, trying to set things up down the bot lane. Call the Forge God might be coming in, otherwise it's just the first turret.
They can make this dive happen. There is the
Jumping
Subdivision
in,
and the Call the Forge God.
There we go, the prison coming out for the Sejuani as well, looking to try and CC. Nice hit coming out with Aya securing the first kill, using Enchanted Crystal Arrow to get a catch onto the Caitlyn. Now the targets are changed. They're moving on to the Nasus next, who is teleported down from the top lane. Aya flashes away, but into the arms of the Malzahar. She will get taken down, trying to survive a little bit longer. It's a 2-for-2 trade as the fight ensues. Now back under turret, they get silenced down by the Malzahar. They have the Zyra. Clara over back by the brush, but she doesn't have much health. She's not able to continue on with this fight. They're just gonna have to back off right over to the blast cone. It was a pretty good dive, but they won't be able to find that much more.
Yeah, they had to commit to the dive because they already expanded the ultimate from the Orin. At that point, you kind of have to make something happen, knowing that the bot tier 1 was going down as well. I think they should have definitely focused down the turret before going for the dive. They would have gotten a lot more. So maybe a small macro misplay, but overall still getting the kills that they needed and converting that to a tower lead soon, because as we saw, bot tier 1 is just a gust of wind away from being taken down.
Yeah, mid lane looking to go down pretty soon as well once they invest a couple of people in that mid side. So overall, pretty decent trade, especially considering that a lot of the gold headed over to the Nasus, who's pretty easy to kite. Honestly, this is a tough time for the Nasus. There is no real target for the Nasus to get on because there's so much crowd control and so much kite potential.
The moment he walks up, pretty much gonna be Strangle Thorns and Ring of Frost and volleys to the face that is going to make her life very hard for her to chase up to the priority target. So yeah, definitely like you say, Brandon, tricky situation for her to get to the back line. Itemizing for the split push now might be a better choice, but instead opting to delve into the Frozen Gauntlet or Iceborne Gauntlet path instead.
Yeah, that's safety right there. You're looking to go safe. You're trying to go for that Iceborne Gauntlet. I mean, it works.
Yeah,
it works, but I'm not sure whether or not it's gonna find the kind of effectiveness that she's looking for, considering the number of slows, everything that's gonna. I mean, maybe you can 1v1 the Orin. I'm not exactly sure the number of stacks that Nasus has right now.
Demolish taking that mid tier 1 down as well. Now she's gonna get caught, but the claw is gonna get her out. They should be turning their sights towards top tier 1 now. Yeah.
This could be a good chance to dive top. They've expanded a lot from the top lane previously. Enchanted Crystal Arrow not going to be able to connect. Now looking for the catch onto the Caitlyn, the flash forward. Oh, nice double kidnap! Oh my goodness! The chain CC coming in with the Zyra to get a knock up onto the Morgana as well. Ace in Hole coming out. Aya comes in with the block, but Lissandra coming in with the flank. The Fulsion Tomb coming in, using on herself. And she will be looking to go for a little bit more. Lustreless goes so aggressive under the turret and will not be able to find anything. So 1-for-1 trade back, but support for jungler, is it worth it? I had to get a turret for it.
Very over-aggressive, but overall they find a 1-for-1 and a turret. Now they have a small window to turn their sights towards the mid lane and reset. You can see the push coming in and trying to make a kill happen onto the Nasus. Sheepy gonna back off.
Yeah, every time they go for one of these fights, I mean, they don't. It's not really. You can't really say it's a perfect play, but they always come out hit. And these small leads are compounding. They're finding themselves in better positions. The map is being shoved at. All outer tier turrets on Cerberus side have been taken down. So
the reason why these dives look so good is because they know worst case scenario we're gonna get a kill and a turret.
That's true. Yeah.
And honestly, best case, they convert that into further kills, right? So there's always a upside to these dives. There's no way they're losing more than they gain. In terms of cost-benefit assessment, they're always coming out ahead.
So they're always playing for like, oh, the worst case scenario is this, but they're always getting the worst case scenario anyway.
Doesn't matter, you know? 18 or 17 minutes in, the next dragon is going to be Ocean Drake here, which is going to allow them to siege up better. Of course, the regeneration for mana and health is going to be very good for a lot of them. Pings onto the Rift Herald by Cerberus G6. There's no way they can contest this because no one is in position, so I think the call now is just to set vision up and maybe look to capitalize if Asterisk moves over to take that. As I say that, moving over to ward this out is going to be Morgana here.
Yeah, honestly, Cerberus have been playing beyond my expectations. I mean, it's kind of mean to say it's like, hey, I wasn't expecting you guys to be able to make these kind of plays. But honestly, we've been watching them perform some pretty solid macro decisions, moving towards trying. It's a little bit reactive, which is why they've fallen a little bit behind. But honestly, it is still pretty impressive considering how dominant Asterisks have been in many of their prior compositions.
Okay, right now Cerberus G6 have to back off because Lissandra has teleport. She can join in the fight with a flank. You see a ward behind on the Baron Pit. This is a very, very disadvantageous fight if they take this, so this should be a Rift Herald secured, and if Cerberus overstays, they're gonna get caught out.
Yeah, just teleporting into the Baron Pit. Not gonna use the Claw to get over and try and look for some CC, instead just taking the much safer play.
Yep.
They can use the Rift Herald now to look for a turret in any of the other lanes, and that is definitely gonna help them out a lot, so overall, maybe not the best use of the teleport, but it is the much safer play.
In terms of the value of turrets, if you're looking at where to use the Rift Herald, just as I say that you use it in the mid lane, actually I was about to point out that mid tier 2 doesn't have as much value as its predecessor, but it's still a pretty good take because this basically opens up the enemy's jungle. Lustrous looking to go in for the kidnap but not finding it.
Not bad, still being able to bait out a decent amount in the... Oh my goodness, coming in, they're looking for an engage onto Lustrous first. Sejuani will find a little bit of lockdown on her, and Shadow Crystal Arrow manages to connect onto the Caitlyn. Flash away from Clara will save her from the Dark Binding, and that's a great use of the Summoner spell, evading death with that one.
Yeah, Ornn has joined in, so they could look to force the fight again if someone's caught out. And speaking of caught out...
Oh, that's the catch that we're looking for. Morgana over on the side. Will not be able to charge down, but now up in the top lane, they have this wave prepped and ready. Looking to take this top turret down. Just a couple more moments as this wave pushes up.
Can see the positioning from the Ornn. This is a very good choke if you're looking to play an engager for your team, because from this angle, you cut off any angle of retreat that the team, or any angle of approach that they want to use.
Nasus pops the flash right away, call the Forge Guard right onto this Nasus. They're looking to take him down, the Brittle coming in as well. Lustrous into the face of the enemy, the Cell Division keeps him alive for a little bit longer. So much CC coming in for the Lissandra, forces the cleanse away from the Melzahar, and it will find a kill on the Nasus as well.
Thought Lustrous was being a bit too adventurous moving up, but she had Cell Division, and with the rest of the team falling up, that's enough time for her to get back into a revived state and find a kill for her team.
Never punished.
Never punished. See, they play for the worst case scenario, Grandin, but they still come out ahead. This is so nice to see from Asterisk. Just very measured and calculated decisions. Whoever is making these shot calls definitely deserves a pat on the back.
So now we're already watching a decent amount of gold accruing on the side of Asterisk. I mean, I'm looking at
decent? It's 8k, man.
8k, 20 minutes. Whew. I mean, this is the amount. This is a...
Let's call a rose a rose. This is a massive lead.
Yeah.
That the composition is going to use to abuse, because with double teleport on the Ornn and Lissandra, they can play 1-3-1, no problem. As long as they can join the fight in time. Lissandra is very dangerous when she gets the flanks. Ornn teleporting in general is just a big fight changer. So 1-3-1, the way to go for them. I won't be surprised if they do it. And it's going to be more effective now with the goal lead as well.
Yeah, it definitely feels like the 1-3-1 it would be the default strategy for them to work with. I also feel like they could be perhaps posturing for a potential Baron. With the Ashe already completing the 2 items at this time, should be relatively safe as long as they have a good vision of where the enemy team is. But you can already see Cerberus definitely very smart about this. They definitely know that Baron is such a huge priority target for them. They cannot allow it to be picked up so easily.
So the thing about this composition as well, if you look at the Asterisk lineup, they can bait Baron and turn very effectively as well. They have 3 champions that force or at least turn and engage very quickly. Lissandra of the Claw, Zac with the Elastic Slingshot, and of course Call of the Forge Guard from Ornn. So this is a composition that not only takes Baron quickly but can turn as well. So the threat is there. They just have to be very disciplined, don't overcommit on the take, and just look to abuse the vision control that they have around this area.
Dragon coming up as well in a couple of moments, which could be a sign for Asterisk to move down bot lane, instead posturing around this top side, Ornn being the only champion around that bot lane. Yeah, just gotta shuffle the mid wave. The bot wave is constantly being shoved out by the Ornn, so they have a pretty open window to just pick up that Dragon quickly.
At level 13, the first upgrade that Ornn is gonna get is the upgraded Sunfire Cape for herself, and they are gonna start up this Baron. It's already down to 10,000 HP.
Yeah, this is pretty quick. They have a pretty secure position right now. A bunch of the players from Cerberus have just recalled.
Yep.
It's a free Baron.
I mean, the percentage health damage from Live the Ring King on Ashe is actually pretty sick, so of course they're going to be taking it relatively quickly, and not to forget they have a single Mountain Drake to add on a compounded damage.
Yeah. Bunch of additional damage to these objectives with that Mountain Drake. Just actually, with the playstyle that Asterisk has, I think Mountain Drake is their most preferred one, right?
Like, in order of most preferred to least preferred, I think it's going to be Mountain Drake, Air, Inferno, and then Ocean, because they like to rotate around the map so quickly that those two, speaking of Mountain Drake, they're going to get another one for themselves. But yeah, definitely, like you said, compounds onto their playstyle, very effective for them.
So it's looking pretty strong as they pick up the second Mountain Drake. Definitely going to help them as they are looking to embark on the second siege into the base of the enemy. Let's see how things pan out.
So far, Asterisk has very much impressed me this tournament. 2 games that we've seen them today. From draft to execution to overall individual lane mechanics, they've really scored 10 upon 10 in most areas. And I think they are the team to beat right now. Not even overstating or trying to make an exaggeration, they really are the team to beat.
You can even see they've set up that top wave to be in position to work in tandem with the siege right now. Very good decision here. Forcing 5 members down, you just have this cat minion slowly whittling down the health.
I want you to pay attention to how the Lissandra is positioned, because she and Zac standing on the side is always going to be a threat of engage that the opponent have to respect. The opponents cannot push or at least move up to clear the wave cleanly without knowing where they are.
And you have mid wave being pushed out by the Lissandra right now, looking to try and force the Malzahar back. Black Shield actually being used there. That's interesting.
They're just holding on to this, knowing that the cannon minion is eventually going to finish off this bot tier 2.
Lissandra is just standing right by the ward. I'm not sure whether that's because she doesn't want to...
They could go right now. The tower's going to go down.
There we go, Nasus getting creep blocked, the call to Forge God, the flash still gonna get knocked out anyway. That's the 2-man kidnap, and it's gonna be absolute mayhem on the side of Cerberus. Then Shadow Crystal Arrow goes for a long shot, hits the Caitlyn over in the backline as well, forcing the flash, the heal coming in. Morgana, a couple more auto attacks, they do manage to pull back. Oh my goodness, this is a press, but the Cell Division should still be available, so they're gonna be able to find the Zac a little bit more space. A lot of damage on the Aya, one more hit! Gets the heal off just in time. Lustrous survives as well to get this inhibitor turret down in the bot lane. Lissandra in position to come help as well. Now they're continuing on with the siege. Their Ornn is up basically full health at this point. Ring of Frost coming in. They're looking to try and pick up this fight. Lustrous with very little health will not be continuing on with the aggression. Aya and Clara just over in the back side, the back part of the Nexus, just constantly bashing it down. They're trying to hold this on. This is the final stand. They're looking to try to end things off here, but they won't be able to find this. Nasus now moving in, trying to stop this siege. Multiple players from the side of Asterisk. Oh my goodness, the collapse coming in. They will not be fighting. Asterisk goes back in! They're jumping onto the Nasus first. Nasus gonna get taken down. One more hit. Mayonnaise gets the kill for that one. Sheepy will be able to find... Oh, his Janice is gonna be able to find the kill onto Lustreless.
Zhonya's...
Oh no, why? Why?
Lustreless will go down eventually at the end, but it's gonna be Candleburn that teleports in, looking to close this game out. A double teleport, in fact, so...
What a hyper-extended game, man. The hyper-extended team fight.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
They're saying we want to close this game out in a single push. Not all of us are going to recall, but some of us will manage to make it back in. And with the enhanced recall from Baron, they managed to do so. So Asterisk now finding the second win for today. Like I said, the team to beat in FSL Season 3. Locally, they look super dominant. Not to forget that this is going to be, part of FSL Elite as well. So to be going up against, the other regions. But as the Singapore representatives, if they do make it that far, I'm very confident in their prowess.
I mean, that final fight was just, what was that, like 2-3 minutes, just bot lane, just the entire duration of Baron buff just spent pushing out bot, looking for those Nexus turrets. That's such a aggressive play with full confidence that they're like, yeah, we can do this. We can end the game off this, and that's the kind of decisiveness that I'd love to see.
That's right. Knowing you have the goal lead, making the call, understanding that this is when we're strong, we're a composition that excels in this period. I think that whoever's calling the shots, like I said, deserves a pat on the back. And overall, just great forethought and planning in terms of draft to execution. Thumbs up play from me for Asterisk across the board.
Okay, with that being said, guys, we'll be going into a short little break before our next game. We'll actually be restarting the stream, so if that goes off for a bit, don't worry, we'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys later.